You spend your hard-earned money expecting a decent cup of coffee, something to start your day right. And instead you're left with something bitter, weak, or so bland it barely registers as coffee at all. The brands we've trusted for decades, the names that have sat in British cupboards for generations, are they still delivering what they promise? Or have they been quietly cutting corners while we've been too loyal to notice? Today, we're settling it. We've dug through what real coffee drinkers are saying, examined the ingredient lists, and looked at what's actually in these jars and packets. We're counting down the 8 worst instant coffee brands still sitting on UK supermarket shelves, and then revealing the 2 that are actually worth your money. At number 8, we have a supermarket-owned brand that perfectly captures the problem with budget coffee in this country. Morrison's Cafe Gold Instant Coffee. The kind of coffee you buy because it's cheap, because it's there, because you're rushing through the shop and you just need something caffeinated. And that's exactly the problem. This isn't coffee you choose. It's coffee you settle for. The jar promises rich, roasted flavor and shows images of steaming cups that look deeply satisfying. But crack open the lid and the reality is something entirely different. Customers say the smell is often weak, almost musty. The granules look dull, and when you actually brew a cup, what you get is something that tastes more like brown water with a vague memory of coffee somewhere in its distant past. One reviewer put it perfectly. It tastes like they roasted the coffee beans, then roasted them again, then forgot about them in a warehouse for 6 months. Now, Morrison's isn't trying to compete with premium brands here. They know what they're doing. This is budget coffee for budget prices. But here's the thing, cheap doesn't have to mean terrible. There are budget coffees that still deliver something resembling a decent cup. Morrison's Cafe Gold isn't one of them. The real issue seems to be consistency, or rather the complete lack of it. Some jars seem slightly better than others, which suggests quality control that's all over the place. You're potentially taking a gamble every time you buy a new jar. And when even the good jars are barely acceptable, that's not a gamble worth taking. So Morrison's Cafe Gold sits at number 8. Not the absolute worst, but certainly not something any serious coffee drinker would keep in their cupboard by choice. Number 7 might surprise some people. This is a brand that's been around forever, a name you've seen in cupboards across Britain for decades. Douwe Egberts Pure Gold. The problem with Douwe Egberts is that it's living entirely on its reputation. This used to be a solid choice. Reliable, consistent, a safe bet when you weren't sure what to buy. But somewhere along the way, something changed. It seems the quality may have slipped. The formula shifted. And now what you're getting is a shadow of what this brand once delivered. The biggest complaint from long-time buyers, it's weak. Painfully, disappointingly weak. You need to add twice as much to get anything resembling a proper coffee flavor, which means that value pack isn't actually value at all. You're burning through it twice as fast just to get a decent cup. One long-time customer summed it up. I've been buying Douwe Egberts for 20 years. I don't know what they have done to it, but this isn't the same coffee anymore. It's like they've stretched it, diluted it somehow. I've switched to something else. And that's the tragedy of Douwe Egberts Pure Gold. It's not that it's actively terrible, it's that it used to be good, and now it's just there. Forgettable. A brand trading on past glory while delivering present mediocrity. The packaging still looks premium. The price point suggests quality. But open the jar and what you get doesn't match the promise. It's the coffee equivalent of a band that had one great album 30 years ago and has been touring on that reputation ever since. At number 6, we have something that should have been brilliant, but ends up being baffling. Kenco Millicano Whole Bean Instant. The concept sounds perfect, doesn't it? Finely milled whole coffee beans mixed with instant coffee. The promise of proper coffee flavor with instant convenience. But here's where it all falls apart. The texture. When you scoop this coffee out of the jar, you get this strange, gritty substance that doesn't quite dissolve properly. It sits at the bottom of your cup like sediment. And if you're not constantly stirring, you end up with a mouthful of coffee sludge in your last few sips. As one reviewer bluntly put it, it's like drinking sandy coffee. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with the bits at the bottom. Eat them? Throw them away? This isn't coffee, it's a science experiment. Now, some people actually like this. There's a small group of fans who enjoy the texture, who see those milled bean pieces as proof that it's more real than standard instant. But for the vast majority of people who try it, the experience is just off-putting. And here's the kicker. It doesn't even taste that much better than regular instant coffee. You're dealing with all this textural weirdness for what amounts to a marginal improvement in flavor at best. The whole selling point, that combination of instant convenience with whole bean quality, doesn't actually deliver on either front. It's trying to be two things at once and ending up being neither. Not quite instant, not quite proper coffee, just an awkward middle ground that satisfies no one. Now we're getting into the big names. At number 5, we have the coffee that's in more British cupboards than perhaps any other. The absolute standard, the default choice, the one your mum probably had when you were growing up. Nescafe Original. Let's be completely honest here. This isn't coffee for people who care about coffee. This is coffee for people who need caffeine. It's functional, it's everywhere. It does the job in the same way a spoon does the job of being a spoon. No more, no less. The problem with Nescafe Original isn't that it's terrible, it's that it's aggressively mediocre, and when you're one of the biggest coffee brands on the planet, mediocrity feels like a betrayal. The taste is bitter without being bold, harsh without being strong, and there's this strange artificial aftertaste that lingers long after you've finished your cup. As one person described it, it tastes like what aliens would create if you described coffee to them, but they'd never actually tried it. But here's what really puts Nescafe Original at number 5, the deception of the different varieties. Nescafe has dozens of variants now. Original, Gold, Alta Rica, Azera, all promising different experiences, different flavor profiles. But talk to people who've tried them all, and you'll hear the same thing over and over. They all taste basically the same. One coffee enthusiast put it brilliantly. I've done blind taste tests with 6 different Nescafe varieties. I couldn't tell them apart. It's the same coffee in different jars with different marketing. They're selling you the illusion of choice. And that's what lands it here. Not just that it's mediocre coffee, but that it's mediocre coffee pretending to be a dozen different things. At number 4, we have an American import that never quite understood the British palate. Maxwell House Original. This is coffee that tastes like it was designed in a boardroom by people who'd read about coffee but never actually enjoyed a proper cup. The smell coming out of the jar is the first warning sign. It's not quite right. There's this chemical edge to it, something artificial that immediately tells you this isn't going to be a pleasant experience. And when you brew it, the taste is somehow both weak and unpleasant at the same time. It's an achievement, really. Most bad coffee is at least weak enough to be inoffensive. Maxwell House Original manages to be watery and bitter. One reviewer captured it perfectly. I made a cup, took one sip and poured the rest down the sink. Then I made another cup thinking maybe I'd done something wrong. Nope. Poured that one away too. The jar went in the bin. That's not an isolated experience. Go through the reviews and you'll find story after story of people trying Maxwell House Original, being disappointed and never going back. There's no loyalty here, no longtime fans defending it, just a long list of people who tried it once and immediately regretted it. The truly baffling thing is that Maxwell House is a massive brand in America, huge, but whatever they're doing over there isn't translating here. The British market wants something different, and Maxwell House either doesn't care or doesn't know how to deliver it. At number 3, we arrive at something that technically qualifies as coffee, but only in the most generous interpretation of the word. Tesco Everyday Value Instant Coffee. This is the bottom of the barrel, the absolute budget option, the coffee you buy when you have no other choice. The name tells you everything. Everyday value, not premium, not finest, value. And in supermarket language, value means cheap. It means corners have been cut. It means you're getting exactly what you pay for, and what you're paying for is not much. Open a jar of Tesco Everyday Value, and many customers say the smell is nothing. Seriously, it barely smells like anything at all, and when you brew it, you get brown water. That's it. Brown water with the faintest suggestion that somewhere, at some point, this product might have been in the same room as an actual coffee bean. The reviews are brutal. People describe it as dishwater, worse than instant chicory, and an insult to coffee drinkers everywhere. But here's the thing that makes this truly tragic. Some people are buying this because it's all they can afford. They're not choosing Tesco Everyday Value because they want to. They're choosing it because their budget won't stretch to anything better. And what they're getting for their money is a product so poor it barely functions as coffee. One person wrote, "I'm a student living on basically nothing. I bought this because I couldn't afford anything else. It's awful, but I'm stuck with it because I can't waste money. I just add more sugar and try not to think about it." That's what lands it at number 3 from numerous consumer reviews. It's not just bad coffee, it's bad coffee being sold to people who deserve better but can't afford better. At number 2, we have the ultimate race to the bottom. Asda Smart Price Instant Coffee. If Tesco Everyday Value is disappointing, Asda Smart Price is potentially actively offensive. This is coffee that genuinely makes you question whether the people who made it have ever tasted coffee. The flavor, if you can call it that, is simultaneously bitter and flavorless. It's watery, but somehow also harsh. It's an achievement in terrible product development. One reviewer didn't hold back. I've had better coffee in hospital. I've had better coffee on budget airlines. This is genuinely the worst coffee I've ever tasted in my entire life, and I've been drinking coffee for 40 years. Another person described the experience of trying to drink it. I made a cup, added milk, added sugar, tried to drink it. Couldn't. Made another cup with more milk and more sugar. Still couldn't drink it. Gave up. Used the rest of the jar to... Actually, I didn't even know what to do with it. You can't even give it away. And that's the real issue. Even as budget coffee, even as emergency coffee, even as it's better than nothing coffee, Asda Smart Price fails. Because it's actually not better than nothing. Nothing would be preferable. The truly unforgivable part is that Asda has other coffee options. They have mid-range coffees that are actually drinkable, but they choose to keep this product on shelves, presumably because there's still a market for it, because some people are desperate enough or broke enough to keep buying it. And now we've arrived at number 1. This is potentially the absolute worst coffee you can buy in a UK supermarket. The one that makes everything else on this list look almost acceptable by comparison. Cafe Prima Instant Coffee. If you've never heard of Cafe Prima, consider yourself lucky. This is a budget brand that appears in various discount stores and bargain shops across the country. The kind of product you see on a shelf and think, how cheap can coffee actually get? And then you try it and realize, too cheap, way too cheap. The first sign something is wrong is the price. When coffee is being sold for less than the cost of a cup of tea in a cafe, alarm bells should be ringing. The second sign is the smell when you open the jar. It doesn't smell like coffee. Some consumers say it smells like burned rubber mixed with dirt. And the taste? People who've been brave enough to try it describe it as undrinkable, like poison, and the worst thing I've ever put in my mouth. One person's review went viral online. I bought this on a dare. My mate bet me I couldn't finish a full cup. I lost that bet. I took 3 sips and genuinely felt sick. I don't know what's in this jar, but I'm not convinced it's actually coffee. I think it might be some kind of industrial cleaning product packaged as food as a prank. The truly shocking thing is that Cafe Prima continues to exist. That people continue to buy it, either because they genuinely don't know how bad it is, or because their financial situation leaves them with no other option. And that's depressing. This isn't just bad coffee. This is a product that shouldn't exist. A product that feels like a punishment. The possibly undisputed worst coffee you can buy in Britain today. So there you have it. 8 coffees that should be avoided at all costs. But I promised you something else, didn't I? I promised you the 2 brands that are actually worth your money. The ones that get it right. The ones you should be buying instead. Because for all the disappointment, all the cut corners, all the terrible products taking up shelf space, there are still good options out there. Let's talk about them. Coming in at our number 2 spot for coffees actually worth buying is Lavazza Qualità Rossa. This is an Italian brand that's been making proper coffee since 1895. And unlike so many brands that trade on heritage while delivering mediocrity, Lavazza actually backs up its reputation. The first thing you notice is the aroma. Open a bag or jar of Lavazza and you immediately smell proper coffee. Rich, deep, inviting. It smells like what coffee is supposed to smell like. The taste delivers on that promise. It's bold without being harsh, smooth without being weak. It's got body and depth. You can drink it black, you can add milk, either way it holds up. As one fan put it, this is the first instant coffee I've had that doesn't make me wish I'd made a proper coffee instead. But here's what really sets Lavazza apart. Consistency. Every jar is the same, every cup tastes like the last one. There's no lottery, no crossing your fingers hoping you got a good batch. It's reliable. And in the world of supermarket coffee, reliability is worth its weight in gold. The price point is higher than the budget options, obviously, but you're getting what you pay for. Real coffee. Made by people who actually understand what coffee should taste like. And now for number 1, the absolute best coffee you can buy in UK supermarkets. The one that rises above everything else. The champion. It's Percol Colombia Instant Coffee. Percol isn't as well known as some of the big names, and that's part of its charm. It's not trying to be everywhere. It's not spending millions on advertising. It's just quietly making excellent coffee. The difference is immediately obvious. The granules look darker, richer. The smell is incredible, genuinely aromatic, and when you brew a cup, you get something that actually tastes like you've ground fresh beans. But what really makes Percol special is the sourcing. This is fair trade, responsibly sourced Colombian coffee. You're not just getting a better product, you're supporting better practices. And you can taste the difference that proper sourcing makes. One reviewer summed it up perfectly. I tried Percol on a whim after being disappointed by everything else. I've been buying it exclusively for 3 years now. Nothing else compares. This is what instant coffee should always have been. And here's the thing, Percol isn't even that much more expensive than the mid-range disappointing options. You're paying roughly the same as you would for Nescafe Gold or Kenco Smooth, but you're getting a product that's leagues ahead. So there's your answer. If you want instant coffee that's actually good, that actually tastes like coffee, that won't leave you disappointed, Percol Colombia is your answer. So there you have it. 8 coffees to avoid and 2 that actually deserve a spot in your kitchen. From the tragic disappointment of Cafe Prima at the bottom to the unexpected excellence of Percol at the top, we've covered the full range of what British supermarkets are offering. The truth is, you deserve better than brown water masquerading as coffee. You deserve something that actually tastes good, that makes your morning feel like a moment worth having rather than a chore to get through. We want to hear from you. Did we get it right? Have you tried any of these coffees? What's your go-to instant coffee? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this helpful, if this saved you from wasting money on terrible coffee, do me a favor and leave a comment with the number 8 just to let me know you made it to the end. Your support means everything and helps us keep creating content that actually helps you make better choices. Thanks for watching. And remember, life's too short for bad coffee.